at the age of 4.5, we found out he has a disease called Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy, considered one of the most dreadful diseases because there is no treatment.
Okay, eventually I will stop walking. Eventually I will start falling down more often. All of these things, each step of the way, you can tell me what will happen. I take everything one day at a time, rather than looking at the whole year, okay, what will come next. It's good to know what may happen, but it's also good to take it one day at a time.
A lot of patients come and say, please don't tell my mother that she has got cancer. Please don't tell my father. What is the right thing to do?
Transparency is a huge part. If you're very transparent, then there's no room for problems to arise. For example, the train station. They made it all accessible. It was not, when I first came to India, it was not at all. They made it, but to get onto the train is not accessible.
It is incomplete.
Incomplete, yeah. See, in India, actually, there's a lot of guidelines which are really well written.
But they are not followed.
In India, especially, there's a lot of... It has improved, but there is a lot more to be done about awareness. And you don't see that many people out in a wheelchair also. One thing that I like to see a lot is some small things. People get so overwhelmed by it, and I'm like, that's a very small thing. To look at the big picture.
Now, to me as a father, you are one of the most positive persons you can have in life. How did you handle this?
Bad things can happen, but you can always learn from it, and there'll be always a other side to it.
Hello everyone. Today we are having an interesting podcast. I am Dr. Ajay Kumar. All this time I have done podcasts on health issues, social issues. Today I am actually here talking with my own son, Adarsh Ajay Kumar. We are going to have a chat on his condition. What has Adarsh gone through? He is 35 years old. And his own journey in life. As you can see, he is in a wheelchair. He has got an accessory for better breathing. We want to share his experience and my experience in this long journey. To take it back to 1990s, at the age of 4.5, we found out he has a disease called Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy. It is a genetic disorder and considered one of the most dreadful diseases because there is no treatment. Even today, there is no treatment, definitive treatment for this disease. But how is it Adarsh has done well? He was told when diagnosed, and we were told by major universities in the United States, Canada, at that time, very few people lived beyond 18 years, 16, 18. So I was told by the doctor, please accept it and do whatever is needed to spend more time with him. While we accepted his age, 16 or 18, he may not live, we went to look at what other options we have. For example, we were told, please start the steroids after he becomes weak. As a doctor, I used some simple logic and said, why should I do when he becomes weak? Why not now? So I went against the grain, started him on the medicines called defluzacort, which really helped him a lot. He was walking till almost 16. And then, of course, due to the muscle degeneration, he went to a wheelchair. And we will hear some of the stories from him and what was his experience in this, what he went through at that age and now, and why he is one of the longest survivors with Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy in the world today. And what does society feel? What are his challenges? I think it will be interesting to hear and have an exchange of views on this. Adarsh, welcome to this podcast. And as I said, I would like to really hear from you. What has been your experience, challenge, since you learned about this? What was the issues? Please have a chat with me on this.
So first off, I would like to say that uh, one of the main reasons is because of my dad, who uh, I've come to this age mainly because of him. One most important detail I feel is transparency. From the age of 5, he didn't hide it from me that I have a condition, and he was very. The whole family is very transparent. He told me what all I will challenges I may face, but at the same time, the positivity that we will try our best to see what can be done to prolong all the effects and all. But transfer is the main key because once he told me like this and this happened, I could also prepare my mind that this, okay, eventually I will stop walking, eventually I will start falling down more often. All of these things, each step of the way, can tell me what will happen. And there have been, I've heard other stories where a child with the same condition is not told, and actually the parents give false hope, saying, okay, there's a doctor coming, there's someone coming, and you'll be fine, and false hope, and you don't have any condition, things like that. And
This is a very important point for us to expand because whether it is a Duchenne muscular dystrophy, in cancer therapy, a lot of patients come and say, please don't tell my mother that she has got cancer. Please don't tell my father or my. See, this is an issue which is always burning inside me. Like you said, transparency. What is the right thing to do? So, in your view, can you explain more why it is a right thing to be honest to everyone and tell what they are? Is it correct to assume they will handle it better and there will not be any bitterness or acceptance will be better? They will become positive at your approach. Is it the better approach in all conditions, not just Duchenne? Please explain on that.
even I did connecting it to cancer also. I did my psychology counseling internship under a psycho-oncologist. So there also I can tell that the same thing like you said, the cancer patient, some people don't tell the child but most of the case, they will already know they have a certain condition and they feel neglected or they feel that they're being lied to by the family by not telling the truth. So I feel that telling it is very important for several reasons. One is, it may cause it may cause some problems or some uncomfortable discomfort, awkwardness. But in the long run, it's very important because the patient or the person will know exactly what is going on. And I think when everybody is in the same page, it will help also the health and you'll cause less anxiety, less stress, things like that.
So when you realized that you may not live long, how did you react and take this challenge?
Since a young age, it's been told. So I think I take everything day at a time, one day at a time, rather than looking at the whole year. Okay, what will come next? It's good to know what may happen, but it's also good to take it one day at a time. I like to in the morning get up, have that full day for myself. Do like what you do every day. What you want to do, you do that day. And in the night before you sleep, you reflect on the day, things that you taught me also. Reflection is a very important key. So you reflect in the night what you did in the day. Did you feel like you had a good day? A bad day, what can you do better? Learn from it and then you sleep all day, next day again, take it as a new day.
Now, let us take the practical thing, Adarsh. Like when you went to school, you saw other kids running around doing things you couldn't do. You had limitations. Later on, you also had to go to a wheelchair. You still went to the college. How did you feel about it? You see others running around doing. Did you feel any time, why me? Did you have any bitterness? Did you feel why this has come to me? How did you handle this? To me as a father, you are one of the most positive persons you can have in life. And even people who meet you say that, they get energized by you. What is your secret sauce?
Uh, well, first off to say, my schooling was kind of all over the place growing up. Till fifth grade, I was in one city. Then I moved to a
In
different,
US?
yeah, in the US. I was born in the US. So, yeah, in the US. Then we moved to Boston. There again, I had to change schools twice. Then suddenly we had to move to India, which was a culture shock, a subject shock, many things. Not so much of a culture shock because I would come here every year, as you know, but more of like the education system, the school, people around me, how. Uh, so the why me question, of course, it will come up. I think everybody will always have that question, why me? But at the same time, the positivity I look at it uh, as a special, like there's a condition which I don't like to call especially abled or differentially able, but I use that in a positive aspect. So I'm a unique person. I take it like that. I see because I'm a wheelchair, what are the good things? And I say, okay, because I can't do certain things, but I can do other things. Like,
Other things which others can't
yeah,
do.
like reflect, observe, and I see the world in a very different way. Sometimes people, one thing that I like to see a lot is some small things. People get so overwhelmed by it, and I'm like, that's a very small thing. To look at the big picture, I tend to do that a lot. So I know I see the world in different ways. So that is one thing, and then the why me came up. Uh, it does come up several times. Even now, it does. But I again counter thoughts like this help me to manage it. Uh, then with the friends and all, it was in a public. It depends also where the schooling was, the teaching staff, and everything like that. So in a public school, I felt more. It was harder with friends, but for 2 years, I went to the private school with like Harvard teachers, and they give special attention. There, I did not feel neglected at all, or they would always keep me busy with some other activities or something. Even if all the other kids went for sports, that time they would give me, I would do doing something else. I did some videography they taught, then how to edit videos, things like that. They taught all those things. How to even writing also, they gave me more projects on writing. So I felt very included. Whereas when I went to public school, there in Boston for half a year, I felt very neglected. Even the teachers, I felt discriminated, and I felt the teachers, because I was a silent kid, they thought that I didn't know the language itself. So things like that.
They didn't. They thought you don't know the language, but you got into one of the best schools later on. At which point they were surprised. Others, you got into this? Then they began to, wow, this kid should know more than what we assumed, right? So they did not really appreciate what you are. Maybe part of it is because of this, the issue you have. They did not go into the depth because in the one of the things. Others in US, as you know, and anywhere else, when there is a boy who is in the 8 years, 10 years, you're supposed to be running around, athletic, do a lot of things. And when you could not do, they looked upon you in a different way. But this other school, private school, obviously understood that. Am I right?
Yes.
And accordingly gave you that additional things to do. So everything, would you say it is you were doing your best, but to create that awareness about what your needs are, everything is important. Can you talk a little bit about that? How those needs are? What do you expect? And is this society meeting those needs today?
So, but before that, just want to comment more on the Indian school. So when I came to India, it was I had to suddenly move from general science to chemistry, physics, biology, and I know and maths was much more difficult here. So that was a very difficult aspect to get used to the subjects, studying the new culture, and it was a old Sanskrit school, then, but a very good school. But it was, and then I, at least they were able to teach me French and all that. But and then at the same time, I was also slowly, my walking was declining. So everything was coming together at once. And I think you were also not, you were in and out. And Amma was doing her studies in US. So it was just almost just me. But with the friends and all, there was not that much once, especially once you stop walking, you felt they would all go out to play and there was no individual attention. It felt very isolated then. And I think that's also culture of India also played a part. And again, the teaching staff, all of it plays a part. So looking back at all this, to answer your question, looking back on all of this, in India especially, there's a lot of, it has improved, but there is a lot more to be done about awareness. And you don't see that many people out in a wheelchair also.
Why is that? Why
And the
is it?
numbers are, if you looked at, I've also studied in psychology and also worked in for some time in a disability NGO. So looking at all the statistics, there's a lot of people with disabilities. It's just that they are not, culturally they're not, and people are not aware, they don't come out. Even it falls on themselves or the family to push them, to no one go. Whereas if you look in Europe and US, where all we've traveled, you can see them doing their day-to-day activities. You can see a lady going in her scooter, she goes on the bus, goes, gets groceries, comes home,
You
self-sufficient.
remember the lady we met in Australia?
She also, like, she had this really cool motorized super fast.
And she had no legs.
She had no legs and her joints were all distorted, but she was able to use a big phone with just 2 fingers, fold it, and drive. She was very self-sufficient. So like that, like, and there was no support, no other helper with her. She did everything on her own.
So let us go back to your journey again. When you came back, you faced these challenges. And you also took some actions. For example, when you went to restaurants, how did you handle it? Because a lot of the restaurants at that time, public places, didn't have accessibility. Wheelchairs couldn't go. People have to lift you. How did you handle this? And what is your advice going forward to people who are listening to this?
Okay, so initially looking back, like I think after my schooling and all of this, and after I became more, uh, what do you say, more active and more participant, then when I would go to restaurants, I would at least make that extra effort to talk to the owner or something and be like, look, if you can make some a ramp or something, it will be helpful. But in India, I think if I went to 10 different places, at least 1 or 2 places would do a change. Most of them would not. And I would write letters and emails to them saying that you should do it, awareness things. And out of that, only yeah, out of so many, only a few would make some changes. And so now with social media and all, we should make more awareness, more. I learned from my job also that architects and building constructors, even the contractors, everybody should become more aware about this. And there's actually a lot of, see, in India, actually, there's a lot of guidelines which are really well written.
Yes.
Rules and laws, everything, they've really.
But they're not followed.
They've written really nice. I've looked through all of them. It's very organized, very this. But it's and they've implemented some of them. Like Church Street in Bangalore, when they first did it, they wanted to make it all accessible. And it was really nice. I could go out everywhere. And they've made it so there's space for a wheelchair separately. So we've gone so many times. But now they've not maintained it. And now it's all, there's a ditch here, sometimes there's a block there, and these vendors were blocking also. So a lot of obstacles came up. And again, like buildings, they'll say the laws are there, you're supposed to do it, but they don't implement it.
So that's a good point that a lot needs to be done. And is it possible because people are not aware there is so much need for it? And there is also no demand from people like you to put pressure on the system to continue to do that. I think the disability association groups are not really come together to address these issues in a big way, even though, like you said, there are rules and regulations. Apart from that, coming back to your own personal life, you have a family, and if I can say that, we have twin girls who are about 24 years now, and we had decided not to have any children after you. But when you had this, one of the things we thought about in the 1990s is how is others going to have friends? What is going to happen? So then we decided we'll try to have at least one kid, so who can be with you, play with you, anything. And fortunately, we had twins. So we always think the twins are your gift. If you are normal, healthy, running around doing, probably we wouldn't have had children. And they enjoy your friendship, you being their elder brother. They come to you, look at you. Can you share your personal family experience? And what do you think? Both positive and which are not positive. You can share candidly, and we can also, people who are listening, we can also learn. Obviously, everybody can learn. Uh, Please go ahead.
I don't know if you remember this, but funny thing is when we were in Burlington eating dinner or something, then you told me that Amma was pregnant and all. So then they're like, what gender or something, we're just talking. So then I made a joke that, oh, I hope it's twins, a boy and a girl. So
Yeah.
it came out partly true. Two girls, and it's definitely a gift. It's a mood, a gift, whatever you want to call it, because they also played a huge part, even indirectly, directly, on my health also, on positivity, on giving color to my life. So, like growing up with them, I think when you were not there also much, and I had to. There's a 10-year difference between me and them, and I had to manage the schooling and them getting up ready, and you gave that responsibility to me. Sometimes it became uh, like my dad, you were very wanted to get into competitive swimming. So for a time, he made me the coach, where to time them and everything.
With their swimming.
Yeah, and they made a lot of. They would need, especially Asmita, she did not like the swimming at all, and I did not like being strict with them. So I kind of became into a fatherly role. But then later on, I was like, I really do not want this. I want to be a brother more than a father. So then I was like, I don't want to do the coaching anymore, but I want to be there with them, grow up with them, like watch them grow up. So watching them, I watched them grow up their whole life. I think I've spent most of my time, all the family members, with them the most. Uh,
Obviously, they are very deeply attached. Now, as you grew, and then you had an experience of going to an open school, and then you went to actually
I mean, open
masters.
school, I said home. I studied it.
Yeah, and then you studied, and then you went to actual college, and you took that step saying, I want to go to college. You did your MSc in psychology, going to a very crowded college. Friends, can you share that experience? Probably you were one of the few children there going in a wheelchair.
They were one of the few, yeah.
One of few. So can you share that? How did your friendship go? What was the experience in this college, and what has been the effects after that?
Well, masters were definitely different than regular schooling. Also, I was much older, mature, and more reflective. And so I really wanted to. I think I made some friends through HCG Foundation somehow. And then through those friends, I was an introvert before, I think, because all the.
You are an introvert.
I feel like I was for a long time because I was studying at home. I did not like to go to functions or Bangalore. And I just wanted to, I just wanted to stay at home most of the time. And everybody kept saying that you don't talk enough, even if you're at a function at home or somewhere. Not talking enough, you're very quiet and all of that. So I think once I made these new friends, and this, I still, first time actually, went to someone else's, like to like meet friends outside without a family member. So then I came to realize, okay, there are people out there who actually want to get to know me, who actually like me and things like that.
So that's an important point because people are under the perception if you are in a wheelchair, you cannot go with them everywhere. Do the friends are difficult to get by? Is that true or false in your experience? You feel there are some section of people who would like to have friendship with you, provided you also like to have
Yeah.
it.
I mean, it's a two-way thing. You also have to be open to it, and you also have to push yourself. I have interviewed and discussed with other people in wheelchairs also. And in the initial stage, it's very difficult
What is difficult?
to get friends. I've seen it through my observations and other people. The initial, once you get a friend, then it becomes easier. Once you build up, you get yourself.
And they remain friends for long, long time.
Well, that's again questionable. But self confidence will rise. If your self confidence goes up, then you have to really make an effort, not like a person who's not in a wheelchair. I feel the less effort, whereas for us, it's more of an effort. But there are people who want to meet you though.
I know a friend of yours, classmate of yours, who is such a dear friend when you wanted to go to Chicago after a long gap. And he came with you, with us, and spent the whole 6 weeks helping me take care and did everything with you. It is amazing. He left his work and everything came. That is the type of deep friendship I think you develop.
But that is very difficult to, I think, for anybody to get that type of friend.
Even a normal who was walking around can't get that kind of a friend. So you have that is because what is the reason for it? Is because of you or because of his DNA, or what do you think is the possible reason to have such deep friends?
It's a mixed thing because I've also had friends who have been there for 7, 8 years and then problems have arisen, things, other problems have come. So what I like to quote is, or saying is, it's better to have a few good friends than like a handful, like a lot of friends. Better to have those 3 or 4 friends which I have. Better to have that as a close group than rather to have many friends.
I think that's a good point. We all in life want to have friends. What you're saying in based on your own
But
experience,
I've learned from my mistakes also.
few solid friends who are there with you and you are there for them rather than having many. I think your 3 or 4 friends have proved that point that they are everlasting, right? They were green. So I think that is important for you. And then one of the things also, Adarsh, is people come to you. I know you talk in a very light-hearted way. You say, come to you and say that, oh, because you're in a wheelchair and all. You make some comments. Can you share those comments about people walking versus wheelchair and people asking you some advice, the DMD advice and all? Maybe in a light-hearted way, you can share some of your. How do you turn a situation to more of a light-hearted way and get something out of it, positive out of it?
Okay, there's several things there. Okay. One, I actually, in my blog also done this, I categorize types of people. So there are some people who put me on an altar. If I go out, they put me on an altar kind of thing. Like if I'm out in a club or if I'm out in some functions and they'll come up to me like, oh, it's so nice. They're not used to seeing people in a wheelchair. They come and they say, oh, it's so nice to see you out and about. And it's so nice. I'm like, okay, what? Like I see like the bigger picture, but they sometimes don't. But I don't personalize it. I understand their perspective. But like, or I try to, if they're talkative, I'll try to point it out to them that this is, don't put me on an altar, but in a very nice way. Then there's those type of people who pity you. Oh, they're like, oh, you're in a wheelchair. Oh, I feel so bad for you. Oh, things like that. Again, they say, why are you feeling? In a light or like, why are you feeling bad? I'm okay, Jim, just like you. I've also come out and everything. There's nothing wrong.
I think you told somebody you walk with your legs, I walk with my wheelchair.
Maybe something. I
Yeah,
don't.
you made
I
that
don't
comment.
remember.
Yeah, it was really, I thought it was great because you say, I also walk. And in fact, in this regard, if you remember, I talked to you, I said, former President of United States, Roosevelt, was totally paralyzed. And during the World War II, he was paralyzed, but he went all over, was president of the country, did a lot of things. Even today, one of the senators from Illinois, where we have a place, and where she has both legs are gone, and she is a senator of U.S. And then there is a couple of governors in the state who are also paralyzed. So it just goes to show that we need to make the world understand you are a lot more capable and could a lot of things than what they perceive. Okay, it's just that you have to have the necessary ecosystem, and which is what, for me as a father, is frustrating is that is not there. And we have fought the system, we can continue to fight, but in a country like India, compared to maybe some European countries which are very very disability accessible, there wherever you can go. For example, in Chicago, you can get down from our place and go to downtown anywhere you want, right? Which is not possible. You can't even go out of your place here. So what should be, how should we take this seriously? What is your advice?
I mean, it's definitely we have to be an activist. You have to. We need more, as you said, more people with disabilities need to come out and they need to challenge the whole system. I mean, it has come a long way. It has come, for example, the train station. They made it all accessible. No, it was not, when I first came to India, it was not at all. They made it, but to get onto the train is not accessible.
Yeah, it is accessible until you go to the platform. From there to train, you can't go.
It's happening everywhere where they do one part and the extra part is not
It is
done.
incomplete.
Incomplete, yeah. So those completed, so you need people in the field of disability. And there's a lot of NGO, I think they all need to come together. And people with disabilities all need to challenge the system.
No, one of the things, Adarsh, is you have made lot of calls, restaurants, other places, but you are not actively involved in forming an association or a group. And what may be the reason? Why is it you are not more proactive in terms of, come on, guys, let's get this done? For example, I took up oncology. I said, okay, there is a platform oncology. It is not meeting. I want to really make a drive and do it. Why? What prevents you from having that extra drive? Are you, because you're a satisfied individual, because what you have enough help, everything else? When it comes to personal things, you challenge. But for a group as such, for people who belong to the type of category you are, you have not been a proponent of this. Look, come on, guys, let us form an association, do this and all. Why? What is the reason?
No, it's definitely not because of that I'm satisfied or you have given all the resources, all the info. I have started some things like a accessible auto rickshaw, things like that.
Yeah, you can describe that.
Yeah. So I have when I joined the job for 3 months, that's when I learned a lot more. And that is what I mean. I want to do. It is there. The ambitions are to write RTIs, make an association, get a lawyer. You have also told me all about it. But I think a lot of obstacles have come up in the way.
But life is full of obstacles.
Yeah, but this is, I think, like I really want to, and I think I want to give that dedicated time and all for that. But I'm not giving as an excuse. But I think yeah, you've recently known all
And
the.
one of the things about the auto rickshaw was, you can describe that you made an electric auto rickshaw where people with a wheelchair can get in and go to a movie, go to a shopping mall and all, and get out without being lifted. It's an amazing idea, but somehow it has not fully taken off because what are the possible reason?
One was the right finding the right team, but with the infrastructure pyramid, it's not at all. It is possible, but you have to find the right team. You have to find the right dedication, and also you have to give the complete attention.
So Is it because of your health issues and others you get distracted? Could be possible. Let us talk about that. You were doing well till 2017 when a lot of things happened. Your sister got married, you were you were on a scooter. Lot of things happened, and then suddenly, when we were away, you had a fall, and you had a fall because the person who was helping you slipped, and you had broken bones, and we all came back, and you went into a lot of turmoil. We were not sure whether you will come out of it because of the sepsis. You were in ICU. We created a ICU at home. And we went all out of the way to see. And an amazing theory is here. I want to personally share is I remember when you were on intubation, and we were thinking, people are beginning to come and see you as though it's the last visit for you. Your blood pressure was down 60 and I'm one of the doctors from another major institution, an infectious disease expert said, why do you have to do all this? Let him go. That kind of approach had come, and thanks to your sisters and me, your mother, all strong people, we really took it up as a challenge. We created ICU at home. We kind of managed you with what we call adrenaline crisis. Everything brought you out of it. All of this. I remember one day at 1 o'clock in the night, I was having the iPad and I was sleeping. I looked at it upstairs. Your blood pressure has gone to 60, heart rate to 180. Jump down, call all the help, and did everything necessary to bring you out, so you don't have kidney issues leading to total failure and all. All of this time, even though it was setback, we're glad you're here. That we final fatality did not happen. What were your thoughts when this was going on? Were you still positive and say, I know we'll get out of it, or and post this, what has happened in you? Some of the issues we discussed, like not being active and all that, and so issues and at a different level, or are these related to the fall? What has been the experience during the fall and post fall, and you've gone into wheelchair? Can you kind of describe those things?
Yeah, so I'll take it one at a time. So after the fall, it took about, I think physically it took about what,
Few months.
like 5 to 6 months physically, but then emotionally and psychologically it took almost a year. But the first part was, I think when people were visiting and all of that, I was completely like unaware. I was very I think too drugged, a lot of medications and things. But somehow I knew that everything will turn out fine.
And you had a tracheostomy.
Yeah,
and
but I
nobody-
knew,
you couldn't
and I
talk.
know there was pain and things like that. But I knew there was a broader support, and somehow I knew that I will get out of the whole.
You knew somehow we'll get out.
Yes, somehow it was always there. That nothing.
That is the positive attitude.
Yeah. So I had thoughts would come. A lot of people depended on me. Like if I'm not, then it'll cause a lot of this thing. And also, I have a lot of things to do still.
So mentally also you fought.
Yeah, of course.
Tell us about it.
If I didn't fight, then it would not have. Mentally, emotionally, I did all the. But mentally, I knew that, like I said, I'll come out of it. But that I had a lot of work to do. Like, one is being active, helping others. A huge part of me is always, instead of my own thoughts about having a rap, like when you ask a hotel to make a rap, it's more about other people can come. And even the auto rickshaw, all of these things were so to help other people. So I really want to. It's a strong ambition that.
So you were not ready to leave this world.
Yeah, unfinished business, you could say. You could say. So that was able to. That was then the psychological part. So once I got better physically with all the things, I was very quiet. And even my dad taught, and because I had read psychology and all, studied it, so that helped me also. But then my dad kept on repeating, thought that I was some sort of depression or something like that, then I would say it's not depression, I just need time. And then family support was a huge thing. Everybody was all hands on deck. And also my room was converted to ICU. So it was all sterile, and because my dad, you didn't want me in the hospital, which was a very good move. And then the whole family support. Then after that, you insisted we do a family trip to Europe because it will, all the trauma, everything will change. And that was again a very good, that helped me psychologically a lot. So then during the trip, they're like, okay, now you're joking. Now you're coming back to your old self. Now, the one thing that I had with my friends also was because I reflect a lot and when I studied psychology, it was always in the question, why am I so silent? Why am I not getting back? And it took a lot of time for me to understand why. And there's another friend of mine from college, and she actually questions me a lot. And even in college, she would ask me, like, is it okay to ask me about the condition? I'm like, please ask me about my condition. So she became a good friend. So she started questioning me a lot. Why is it your child made me think more about? So while we were discussing, this was almost 1 year after the thing in our balcony in Bangalore. Then suddenly it dawned on me that there was a lot of changes in my life. One was from the scooter to the wheelchair. Okay, another one I depend on two people rather than one person. Then again, even simple thing of using the restroom was a complete change. You may think it's a small thing, but it's a huge, which had its benefits and difficulties at the same time. And again, I try have 24 hours I have to have someone around me, which is again a good thing because it's almost like anything I want, they can go and get. But like a lot of people would want their own assistant. That's also, but then again, that person will constantly be around you, which can also uh, overlap with your independency, privacy, all of that. But I thought with all these changes happening, that is why my mind was processing them. And once each process I got used to, the better I was becoming. So it was just it became overwhelming for me. That's all. And then I slowly became myself. And again, positivity. Get to look at the positive side of everything.
In a very short sentence, can you tell me post trauma experience? What has it been? Is it what have you learned from the accident you had?
As in psychologically,
Overall, yeah, whatever.
bad things can happen, but you can always learn from it, and there'll be always a other side to it. There's dark, there's always light. The yin yang concept.
Yin yang concept.
So if you go to the bad, the good will also come.
I mean, as it this experience, obviously it's something shouldn't have happened. Has it made you a more positive person and stronger internal strength? What has it really done to you?
I mean, it's reinforced whatever I had, the positivity that it will happen, and it's rather than like maybe better with an example, uh, like simple thing like using the restroom. Before using that scooter, I would have to make sure the bathroom is also accessible. Now I use a CAD, and that can be given, and that anywhere if you corner it off, if one person stands in the way, I can just use. So the benefit is that then I can go wherever I want. If the car, I can go anywhere I want. So it's much more easier, but I don't have to like that. So there's always some positive, even in a negative situation. That is what I learned. Even in a
So
negative situation, there's a
positivity,
positive.
even in a negative area,
Yeah.
the true yin yang is what you feel has made you a better person. Understanding this and a positive spin on all this is what keeps you going. Is that a right assumption?
That's what. And one more thing is, you also know that uh, there could be a deadline. So what you need to finish, you have to finish off as quick as you can. Okay, if you have an idea, you should quickly do it. But I lack in that. But
I was going to come to that. Are you a procrastinator to some extent?
yes, I can consider. But I mean, that with the obstacles, sometimes I do use it, but sometimes it is genuine. Sometimes I do use it, but overall, I feel I am better. I'm more productive than much than I was before.
So when you really in a day in your life, what is a day in your life now? We fast forward to 2024-25. You still have some issues, your leg issues, few things. But what is your typical day, and how would are you satisfied with how you spend your day, or you still feel you should challenge certain things you should achieve? Going forward, what do you look at it? A typical day, and what do you look at it in future?
Well, of course, you can challenge yourself more, even if you're like you are like you're so busy, but you still challenge yourself every day. So that everybody should challenge. There's no limit to that. You can't say this is enough for me. That will always challenge us. For me, as compared to before, now taking care of my health itself takes majority of the day. Uh, the leg wounds are there. Once those heal up, will be give a lot of extra, give me more time. And sometimes pain is there, discomfort, and then you want to distract yourself. Then doing some work is quite difficult. So all these are, and you have to take it. Some days are good, some days are bad. The good days I take it as much as possible, right, to get whatever I want to get done. I finish it off. Errands or things like that. Those good days I want to finish it off and spend more time reading. And now I've developed reading habits again, going back and uh, actually, there's some habits that I want to change, and some new habits I want to add. And then also, I've been meditating more. Things like that. These changes are directly affecting, connected to my health. Yeah.
What about the books you read? What are the types of book you read, and what do you advise people who have similar issues? It could be physical, it could be mental. They are all come to the having issues in life. Others, obviously everybody has issues in life. Where even small issues, some people have, and everything else is there. Some people have big issues, so called, but they deal in a way as though it is less than small issue. It is all our DNA how we deal. So what is the type of books you read? Are the books help you? Are the dialogues help you? What kind of makes you life so positive person to be? Because for somebody, all the information we get from relatives, friends who talk to you is others is our model. He is our role model. We learn from him. What is the secret of that?
Okay, so the books definitely do play a huge part. I have learned that, uh, I mean, remembering the content of the book is difficult, but it does go in your mind somewhere. You do learn from it. First I'll say the types of books that more books that have a meaning. And I do read fantasy book, but that is for leisure, relax. But these main books that I read are a lot of autobiographies, a lot of philosophy, to some extent self-help related to psychology. Not like right now I'm reading this book called, it's a bestseller on Atomic Habits. How you break old habits and you bring new ones. It's written really well. Then there's some other, a bit of epigenesis, about how your mind can control your cells and things like that. So all these books were science, learning, plays a huge role. Autobiographies I really like and recommend to other people, because rather than biographies, autobiographies, how that person, the issues they dealt, things like how they became a president, or Anna Frank that died young, what different Holocaust, how it played a huge role. Different. Even I read Hitler's book called How He Became, his own autobiography. Good people, bad people, everywhere you learn from. Uh, and you take all that inspiration it builds in you. And even a lot of stories about, even in India, in my psychology research, I wrote an article on, my thesis was on achievement motivation. So, how do people with disabilities still achieve things? Like there was a person who, by mistake, fell and got her both her legs went on a railway track, but she was able to climb Mount Everest without them using on her. So these things really play a huge inspiration on me. If they can do it, then this is nothing. Then that keeps me going. So
Let us also talk about your disease itself. Lot of research has happened in the last 25, 30 years. We thought by now there will be a definitive treatment, gene therapy and others, which a lot of times has not succeeded. Recently, also, there was some fatality from gene therapy, which is an approved drug, so it has been put on hold. We were all involved with Parents Project. We did a lot of things. Do you think you are doing enough to go know the research about it, and you are on top of the what is going on? And also, like your parents, me being a doctor, candidly, do you feel we are doing enough? Because there is lot of stories. Lorenzo's oil, where the parents obsessively gave up everything, helped the son. Apparently, they succeeded for a while going to Latin America and finding this oil. Do you feel, as a father, as a doctor, I have done enough? And do you feel you are on top of it? Should we have done more, even though there is no, even though we got involved in it? What is your honest opinion on this?
yeah, I wanted to ask you the same, but I'll ask you in a different way. Uh, but first, like for me, I feel I am doing enough with the research. I mean, I can do more. Of course, I can go more detail. I've also, I don't think a lot of people are aware about this, but somebody long ago told me about this uh, Google alerts. So in that, you can type in that anything that comes with the word Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy, it will come into my mailbox. And that I've organized very well. I have a separate label and put it all in that. So all my research, whatever, if any new article comes with those words, automatically I will get the link. And I've organized, I put it all in the inbox. So those articles, sometimes there's a lot of jargon, medical jargon, which I don't understand. But if I feel it's important, I usually forward you the links. And that's how the process has been. Or if there's something very important, when you come, we discuss it. But I can do, of course, I can do more by reading the article every day. But again, time takes a lot of time and jargons and these things and all. Uh, but regarding what I mean, you've done a lot of research, you've done a lot of overtime, but now I think that there's certain things that we can look more deeper into, like these non-steroidal things that we've done it, but we're not giving complete as a team. I would not like to put the blame that you're not doing it. It's a two-way. It's a team. We've always had a team effort. Uh, Even from day one, I think it's always been a team. If I don't do enough, you tell me, okay, you're not doing enough. And same way goes for you. And I think you are busy with a lot of activities. If it does cut down, then we'll focus more on this. And I think we have talked about putting some time slots about it, but I think we're too.
Yeah, we have to do more. And as you know, I was on the World Duchenne body until recently. The only reason I gave up the board is because I didn't think that was really doing that what we expected in collecting data. And as the amazing thing, Adarsh, is as people live longer, as you are now living, we are going into an uncharted territory. You asked me several times, what is an answer to this? Nobody knows the answer because people have not lived that long. When people were not living beyond 16, 18, 20, we knew the answer till then. But beyond that, when you go into 30s, maybe 40s, what is it? Because we hear all the stories of people having that kind of procedures done, this procedure done. But, to me, one of the greatest things, you're using your CPAP the machine, which has helped to improve your lung function. So we try to stay on top, but you are absolutely right. As parents, my message to the parents, any form of disease is you cannot depend only on what your specialists say, what the doctors say. Because if I had listened to it, not put you on steroids, not put you on some medications, it would have been very difficult. So we have to do our own research. We have to do our own research. We have to become a little bit obsessed about it, get necessary experts, groups to take it forward. And then, we should, of course, consult the experts who have done work on this and come together. For example, I consulted about your leg on a famous doctor in Italy who had done a lot of procedures on this kind of issues, like tendons and all that. He said in his 40 years experience working with Duchenne kids, never come across this situation. So what do we do? He said, I don't have any answer. So we have to document it and see what are the answers, go to the details of it, why this happened. So it is a long road, but I think in my view, again, message is, as parents, we also have to detach and do what is it. See, sometimes the emotion comes in the way, the attachment. So I call it attachment, detachment. Huh? So unless we detach and look at it objectively, that emotion kind of plays and makes us make an error in the judgment. So we have to make sure that error doesn't happen. And like I always seek help from Elizabeth, from Duchenne thing in Europe. Like when you had a blood pressure low and all, thanks to her, I talked to her and she said, "Have you managing adrenaline crisis? Because you don't have that much steroids in you because you've been long term. You required a lot of steroids. So immediately we pumped the steroids, and that was one of the reason you came out. But no doctor would advise that. Nobody. So she told me some kids have died because of adrenaline crisis in Europe. Please look into that. So like that exchange of ideas, parents and others and ourselves doing research. But it is not an easy solution. But of course, the way you are now, we are very happy. So coming to
Wait,
it,
let me ask you a question.
yeah,
Okay, before we
Yeah,
get
yeah.
on the same lines. Now there's a lot of parents out there who, this is a multi-question. There are a lot of parents out there who have a child with DMD, but they're not a fighter, or they just listen to doctors and do what it is. And even there's doctors also who have sons with this condition who also don't do much. So you are a fighter, and we all know you've established all it, connecting it to your HCG and all of that. You're a fighter, you have ambitions, when you have put your mind to it, you really want to set it. So there's also, you're a doctor also, and connecting it with, sometimes we have had our frustrations because sometimes you come across as a doctor, sometimes as a father. So how do you manage that? Because from your perspective, since I was a child to now, sometimes you cannot be a doctor all the time, you have to be a father. Sometimes other way around, you have to be the doctor and not the father. So there's that fine line between it. We've talked about it, I know, but like, how do you cope? How do you manage it?
See, in fact, the candid answer is when you had this condition. I remember uh, meeting my family, my siblings, uh, when we went back to Chicago after your diagnosis was done, and they all thought I should give up my job and focus on this. I felt if I have to be challenged, I should keep the job because that is the internal mechanism which keeps me going in order to do right thing. Otherwise, I would be too attached and I would not be able to take the right decision. In my view, reflecting on this 30 plus years, I feel that was the right thing. And that is why, always people come and tell me, oh, your son is living, doing good because of your efforts. It's a joint effort. Your effort is more than mine. But we have achieved this as one of the longest surviving children because of this kind of approach what we have taken. Let us get information, people who are specialists in working, let us extract the information from them. What is the right thing? Some of the new medicines we put you on, cardio medicines, this, everything else. So whatever we do, it is a constant line dynamic process. And we are not getting it too into the attachment where say I will give up everything and do. I feel honestly that is the right approach, because my passion in oncology is also advanced and recurrent tumors. It ties in with what you have, so it is like a rollover effect between the two, right? And also psychologically I'm able to handle better because of being involved in what I know subject in this, okay? And that is where there will be shortcomings both way. I may not meet all your expectation, but it is a team effort we have to work. And I think this has worked well, and it could be better. Maybe if I'd focused on this, I would have found a cure for it. But there are enormous number of people who are focusing on it. Okay, that doesn't mean I couldn't have, but it is, as you know, the mutation is one of the most difficult ones, the Duchenne, because of the large protein. To do something in terms of gene therapy or medications has not really worked. Particularly when you reach beyond a certain age, it doesn't work. But we have to look at what will be the future, how are we going to handle these things constantly. We have to churn with your help and your understanding to see, because the future also may not be that easy. There will be challenges with your breathing, with your cardiac conditions and all, but we should be prepared. Like we have accepted all these years, 35, we should do it in a very positive way. I think we can do. And if by chance something definitive comes, there is CRISPR technology, DNA editing, I'm also looking into that. We can certainly do that to see whether we can stop the progression of this disease also. Okay, so this is where we can. And coming to the last part of it, Adarsh, I think we have to look at, we touched on a lot of points: positivity, books, what is the message you want to send, and the relationship with the family, relationship with friends. So, lot of message we are given. So, in one sentence, if you have to give a message of your journey, how would you articulate that? And what is the lasting impression you would like to give the people, so that they can also reflect, they can also think, irrespective of I'm not talking just about the physical challenge or mental challenge. I'm talking about even normal individuals. Everyone, what is it today? The society is rapidly changing. We think there are negativism is there in the world. So when you look at all that, what is it you would like to share, and why is it still you have not completed a book? You can talk about that too. It's a remarkable experience. Why?
To say it in one line, I think everyone, what we always talk, the answer lies within everyone. Everyone has the answer, but how do you reach it? How do you unlock it? Now that is what people lack. And I can say, okay, family support is a huge deal, could help you a lot. But also there are people who have gone to trouble and they don't have family support. And they can also come out, because each situation is different. Like how in your cancer on Tuesday board, you have special cases. You make the treatment protocol for each person, tailor. So I think each person, there's no each person tailor, the answer is a different answer within them. But I think being reflective is one of the most important. And without being nowadays, especially the 20s to 30s age group, of course, I also play a little part into this also, because we get distracted with the phones, social media, and all of this. And that takes away time for self-reflection. And there's a lot of even psychological issues have risen all over the world. Loneliness, depression, all because one thing is, I feel they're not reflective. And they're pushing, there's too many distractions to push away what you're actually feeling. And again, transparency again comes up. And I feel like even in a family or couples, it applies everywhere. That transparency is a huge part. If you're very transparent, then there's no room for problems to arise. Initially, there might be a problem. Like, let's say you do something wrong, you come, you admit it. Initially, there'll be okay, there'll be some what do you call it, effects, ripple effects, but in the long run, it will be clear, and your conscience will be clear. And I think having a clear mind will help you reflect better and lead a calm life, which will again indirectly help your health and everything like that. So, yeah, that should and connected to. So the blog is writing is there. Writing is again it's writing. Blogs. I was into writing blogs, and I was getting into the habit of writing. And it's a message in this also is the practice. So to get that initial momentum is always very difficult. But once that thing starts rolling, the rock starts rolling, it gathers momentum. So with writing, it's initially I do procrastinate, I do delay. But once you get into the rhythm of writing, you have to continuously to get into the I'm enjoying it part. It's like you're running. You run every day. But the week you have this, you say that you go to a different, your reflection mode, your things, and you enjoy running. So a lot of people initially, oh, it's running, oh, do I have to get up? Oh, do I have to go? Oh, my legs will start hurting, and things like that. But for you, you make it into a fun routine. It's the same thing with writing. I have to make it into a fun routine. Once that momentum comes, then
Is there a timeline for that?
yes, but there's again obstacles. But
But you are a master of overcoming
yeah,
obstacles.
but I like writing these small blogs, and I want to compile it all into a book.
Like essays of book.
More like reflections, yeah. Reflective segments on certain topics, and then make it into a book.
So, Adarsh, just to conclude, I think you have been an inspiration I know, for family. We all come to you for any issues we have to solve, and we seek your advice, the whole family. And also, you are obviously an inspiration to a lot of people, your friends, family, relatives. A lot of them come and comment and say what they learn from you. Even my own brother, who is there, speaks so highly of you when he comes and meets you. So there is something in you which attracts these people and compliment you. And if you want to say any final word, please say. Otherwise, I think we can conclude this chat, which has been very informative. And each time I talk to you, also as a father, I learn. I also learn from this chat itself. Any comments you want to make?
Like, I mean, the support from close friends, 3, 4 close friends I have, the family, then also Anjali, the older sister, Advocacy that I told you about, then Amma, the whole. Like, I think I can add this. When we went to the Australia trip, this is a good somewhere. When we went to the Australia trip, there was a lot of challenges initially, and then boarding the plane and getting off. But we got into this habit where each person in the family had one role to do. One of them had to take care of the wheelchair, disassemble it, and then put it back together. One of them had to lift me from behind. Then one of them have to lift the legs. Then another person has to make sure me there as a backup. And the last person has to make sure the luggage, everything comes in. And then putting the pillow, lot of steps. So I think we became professional at the end.
Team effort.
Yes, team effort. And that is like, without all this team effort, even I'm what I am today because of the team
I
effort.
think the Australia trip was truly showed us what a team can do. Successfully, we took you and brought you back, in spite of all the issues in the plane, getting you into the plane, not having the right chair, not having the lifting, and the people saying that I don't know what we can do. You take him back. Take him back where? So all of this we learnt a lot, and it's that's a rich experience what you brought up. Okay, and we all learn from this, and we'll take it forward. And we are also trying to help the Bangalore airport with a similar lift. We are in your name only. We are donating it.
Eagle lift.
Yeah, Eagle lift. Hopefully, we'll have that handover in the next week or two. I'm hoping you can also come. And this, I think we need to contribute to the society, understand what they need, and how we can also be part of it in a more active way, to understand. And each person who benefits is really, we are contributing something. We can take one at a time and do it. Okay. Thanks, Adarsh. Thanks for this wonderful conversation.